Okay, we'll be starting in just a minute. AR and May, why don't you guys talk so we can see how the levels are before we start?
I have juice, tea, and chocolate milk. I'm ready to record.
I have water, but I also have a Gachmon plush, so I'm doing pretty good too.
Okay, it looks like everything is. I think I can go up a touch more. Let's see how. Try. Okay, try talking one more time.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, that looks like everything's about even then. Minus me muting myself because I'm coughing for some reason. Let's see here. Okay. Let me go ahead and grab 30 seconds starting now. Okay, that should be good. You guys ready?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Welcome to the With the Will podcast. I forgot what I said at the beginning. I began to talk and then my brain just went. Okay, let's go ahead and try that again. Welcome to With the Will podcast. We're here to inform and hopefully entertain while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark. I run With the Will.
I'm AR Pulver, Digimon System Store.
And I'm May from Lost in Translation Mon.
And it's been a while.
Well, it's been, what, 3 weeks? That's usually our normal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's somewhat normal, but it feels like the last 3 weeks have been both busier and slightly less busier with less stuff to do, but which means we've kind of all been off doing different things.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the time frame.
Yeah, but it feels different.
Yeah, it feels like I've been doing more important stuff.
It also doesn't help that I was helping family move for like a week in the middle there, and just it felt like never-ending hell.
No, it was better than that. I had ASEN. ASEN was awesome.
Yeah, you seemed very pleased with ASEN in general. I just remember you commenting that people were just walking up to you talking about Digimon.
Yeah, it was the most amazing thing. Like, I'm riding the elevator down Saturday night, and someone in the elevator's like, so yeah, Digimon, let's talk. And then we end up going for, like, as long as the elevator ride was, talking about trying stuff. And then somebody else, when I was trying to get back up the elevator, somebody in the hallway flagged me down and ended up talking for, like, an hour about random stuff.
Yeah, and then at, like, literally as ASEN was starting, we found out there was a Digimon guest there who was there for something else, though.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they're there for a different guest, if I don't know who the guest is, there's no chance of me running into him.
Yeah, and it was KUJI Watanabe who wrote all the side stuff for Hacker's Memory, and like he was doing a lot of the little event things for Hacker's Memory also. I remember he was serving coffee at events and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found out later that he was at ASEN for some of the Bakemonogatari stuff.
Okay.
I had no way of knowing.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but I had a good time. My panel went really well. Got to chill out, get some drinks with the folks at the Going Digital pod. So that was nice.
And during that same period, May, I think you were on their show, weren't you?
Yeah, we covered the 6th episode of 02 and ATMON.
I think one of them had to miss my panel to record for your next episode, I think, too.
No, that didn't end up going ahead because we had scheduling issues.
So she missed my panel for nothing?
I'm sorry. It's because we had the other host was busy with work and stuff, so
May,
I woke up, but I was like,
May,
oh, okay, I guess I'm going back to bed.
May,
Yeah?
now you're causing people to be late for other things.
No.
My panel is very informative. I showed the REARISE trailer. I usually do not deviate from the anime in my panel.
Now here's the question: how was the excitement for REARISE before you told them it was a mobile game? And then what happened to the excitement afterwards?
Well, the big panel said that this is the game section, so I led off with this is a mobile game. Then I showed the thing, and then reminded them it was a mobile game, and I think their eyes bulged even more.
Yeah, and feels like that's gonna be soon. I mean, we vaguely know the period, but I think we can probably get into the actual news now. What do you guys think?
I suppose.
Yeah, sure.
So, the third series of Capsule mascot figures, does it feel like they're just purposely not showing us these as long as they can get away with? Like, at this point, they're out in like a month and a half, and they're just showing us CGI renders now. I mean, they're nice CGI renders, but show us the figures. They're out in July. I assume, May, that you're going to order a whole case of these? Or already have?
Ordered them.
Yeah. I don't know, I like the look of these. They've all looked pretty good. I mean, they're what, 300 yen each, I believe, so about 250.
Really good detail for that price.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully we see actual photos of these soon, especially since later in the news we have something even more hilarious in context of that. New Patamon. They keep bringing back this one Patamon plush, but each time it's bigger and bigger.
I don't blame them.
He's going to eat the world soon.
Like, it was originally 5 inches, then it was 12 inches, now it's roughly 14, and all the photos of all the Crane Game arcades just showing stacks of them is the best thing ever. I love, like, just mountains of Patamons.
Well, yeah. I'd tell you that one would be hard to resist when I see it. Yeah. Like, I saw a few of the other Tailmons in the vendor room, and those were really hard to pass up. And I already have a Tailmon.
Yeah, they've been. It seems like the most popular ones for the Crane games have been Patamon, Tailmon, and Terriermon.
Yeah.
And we finally found out who won the Ichiban KUJI vote thing. It's Tailmon, so we get the little Tailmon body.
Yay.
Which is the goofiest looking thing ever. Just the way, like, the arms are and everything. The concept of just doing basically online Gashapon, just I can't get over how strange it seems.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd.
Yeah, you do it, and then you do stacks of them, and then you pay a couple dollars to have them mail it to you. Just put them in the machines. I mean, they're stuffing stuff in machines constantly. Just do it again. I get the feeling we'll probably see more of these because they designed the Agumon and Patamon bodies. I don't see those going to waste.
Yeah. And
more figures. Hey, they're re-releasing the Series 2 DIGICOLLE figures. The best.
I think those are already out. I think I saw some of those. I saw some of the Series 2 ones in the at Mitsuwa.
Various stores bought like cases of them when they were originally out. There's still stores going off the original stock of them.
Wow.
Yeah, like I know Series 1, I believe Hot Topic bought like a few hundred cases of the Japanese stock and has been selling them for like 15 each. Which is an insane markup. I believe they're what, $5.50 each base when you convert the dollars?
Something like that.
Yeah,
so I've always seen them with pretty high markups, though.
Yeah.
When they're for sale here.
I love the Mochimon one so much. It just looks goofy.
Yeah.
I keep wafting on if I'm gonna try to order these or not, because some of them are really like the Tentomon one looks great, and so does Gabumon. Piyomon.
Yeah.
Far too often with Piyomon, especially in art and figures, she has like dead eyes.
Yeah.
And that continues here.
Yeah, Series 2 is the only one I don't have any of.
None?
Got some. Yeah, I have a couple of 1s and a couple of 3s, and that's it.
And moving on, man, who possibly saw that they were gonna do a second wave of Pendulums for the 20th anniversary?
I'm so excited and so mad at the same time.
Excited because they're happening and mad because you didn't see it coming?
I'm no mad because like I mean I kind of was like, oh yeah, they're probably gonna make another second wave because we got a second wave of the square VPETs, but mad because I'm like, oh man, that's a lot. I'm gonna buy both, and that's still money. Like
the colors on these are just like really great though.
Beautiful. Like I wasn't a huge fan of the second wave designs of the VPETs, but these ones are just, especially the Beelzemon one, that's just beautiful. Yeah, I'm so excited.
The colors are really striking on these, and like you said, the Beelzebumon one just looks fantastic. So what are we going to guess for new content? I'm going to go on the most extreme limb and say they'll get rid of one special egg and do it from the beginning to the mode changes from Tamers. I mean, that's kind of the lazy choice, so it sort of feels like that's what they're going to do, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Especially since it seemed strange those weren't in the prior ones. Like, it feels like if you're going to add Dukemon, if you're going to add Beelzebumon, it feels odd that you're not putting in the mode changes. It almost feels like that's, you know, a fishing line to tempt us.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday was MEGAHOBBY EXPO 2018, and they had a very big Digimon display. They showed off the life-size Gabumon, the upcoming CSA DIGIVICE Tribe Memorial. We got some really good looks at those pendulums, and they look as nice as you'd hope. And then there were a few things that at first we only saw off to the side, but we got better photos of later. They're doing DIGICOLLE Series 3 release, and they've already shown us the 4th series of the CAPSULE mascots.
That Gabumon looks so good. I'm so excited for that Gabumon.
The Gabumon looks great, but again, why are we only seeing... We only got, like, the first CGI prototypes of 3, like, a week ago, and we are already seeing physical models of 4. We don't have this for 3 yet. I gotta say, though, the ones that look the best to me here are... Punimon looks great, and I love the Metal Mamimon.
Yeah. I love Frigimon. He's doing something. Like he's attacking. Like I really like it.
Yeah, these look great. The Gabumon.
Mamimon's such an interesting choice too. I love that.
Where's Angewomon?
It feels like Angewomon's one of those ones that they're saving so that they can hook in on a wave where they're gonna have less interesting characters. Which means we may never get them if these don't keep selling.
Well, I'm gonna buy more.
May's just gonna have cases and cases of them. Yeah, but yeah, there was, and they displayed just the Digimon display was really nice. It was a huge display, and we got a new gem figure. The Holy Arrow version of Angewomon, and it's funny. This is the first episode where ahead of time we knew what the episode title was going to be because Onke suggested it to us weeks ago. Oh. And the episode title is even more relevant now. The episode title is Angewomon's Assets.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. I gotta say, this figure looks fucking gorgeous. It really does.
It really does, yeah.
It looks amazing, but I'm just like, I don't know, I'm kind of like, how many Angewomon figures do we need? Because we already have the one where she's with Hikari, and we just got the evolving one. I'm just kind of like, I don't know, like, I'm kind of sick of just seeing like Tai, Hikari, Yamato, and Takeru gem figures. Like, I kind of want other characters. I feel like they're getting like an unfair amount, especially with Taichi and Yamato, who have like tons at this point.
Here's the logical question, May. You got the sibling figures, right?
Yeah.
And you ordered the precious gems?
I ordered all of them. I have all the gems.
And that's why it's happening.
I know, I'm mad.
No, I know, but as much as we're like, and there are a lot of, especially after this was announced, they're like, they're doing Angewomon again. They're not going to do Frontier, Savers, or more Tamers. It's because this is what sells. Like all.
I kind of want to pose her with the Lady Devimon that I have, because like the other Angewomon doesn't look like she would be with Lady Devimon, because she's like, you know, having fun with Hikari. That came out wrong. And now I've got Lady Devimon.
This is the action version.
Yeah, this is like the action one, and I really like it. But I'm just saying that like, I mean, I would have bought it no matter what. Like no matter who it was, I would buy it because I'm terrible and I have a problem. But I feel like, I don't know, there are other characters, and we just had Tri Chapter 6. Why don't we have Holydramon?
I assume in the case of the Tri stuff, it was that they didn't need to do that stuff while it was running, and now that it's ending, hopefully we'll start getting that stuff soon.
I kind of want like Meiko and Meikumon plush, not plushies and figures and everything, because like I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be.
I could use some of Meikumon's
I'll be on.
higher forms.
I'll be honest. We vaguely knew a new gem was going to be announced yesterday. I honestly thought it was going to be Omegamon or Merciful Mode, because the timing was just perfect to do, not necessarily Merciful Mode, but to do Omegamon after they. But logically, they just did the 2 super expensive ones. It might make more sense to wait a while before doing the crazy blowout figure. And this is, like, as far as we know, this is not a precious gem. This is one of the normal ones. This may be the best normal looking gem that we've seen. Like, this really looks amazing.
What about, is Dukemon a regular gem or a precious gem?
Dukemon's a regular one.
See that? I think the Dukemon, the Crimson Mode Dukemon, that one's amazing. It is just so pretty.
I really like the Crimson Mode. My one issue is while the color is very striking, it's a very kind of standing there action pose for him, where this is kind of more of a dynamic pose. If that makes sense.
Nice. It's helpful that Angewomon does that sort of pose while doing an attack.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Like, this is like the signature pose for the character from Adventure while attacking, is the aiming downwards arrow. But yeah, it really it's hard to comment without just saying it looks fantastic, because it really just looks great.
I mean, I feel like all of the gems have looked amazing. Like,
no, they have. But there's been, like, as nice as, I'm trying to think of, like, I really like the look of the Taichi Greymon one, but it was also a very standard Greymon, like, there's only so much detailing work you can do on Greymon.
Yeah, I mean, like, the Lilymon and Mimimon, which was actually surprising.
That one looked great.
Yeah, we got all this Yamato and Taichi stuff, and then all of a sudden we got Mimi, which is just like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. And she's just hanging out with Lilymon, and it just looks beautiful. It's a dynamic sort of shot with she's coming out of a flower, and they're holding a sunflower together. Yeah. And that and the Wizardmon, Tailmon ones are probably my favorites. They're just, oh man, I have to bring these to my apartment so I can have them on display instead of in my Digimon collection, which is at my parents'.
Yeah, they really do need to do some try ones, though. And then, I mean, there's going to be more to say about that figure in the future, so we won't hang on it too much. So we get to go to AR's favorite subject. REARISE updates.
This is what I'm, like, looking forward to until we figure out what's going on with the sequel business.
The cast is... The cast looks shockingly good for a mobile game, which has everyone sort of, everyone's sort of doing...
hear these kids.
Everyone's sort of doing an eyebrow raise at the cast, because it feels like... It's either they're spending more than they need to on cast, or they know something we don't.
I mean, do we know like its release date yet?
The standby page said it was the end of July, but that was also a standby page on iOS, and right after that went up, the official Twitter went, that's a standby date, we only know summer.
Oh, because like I hope that like I can download it onto my phone when I'm in Japan at the end of the year, because like I want it pretty badly. Like, it looks so good. I'm so excited. It looks like more than just links. Like, we know the voice actors.
The screenshots they've got floating around and towards the end there, just to have all these character interactions.
See,
like, okay,
this
is good. This is good.
I think that's also where me and AR though is while it looks like more than links, it also feels like they might just not be showing us that it's just links. If that kind of makes sense.
It's
just
still,
what we've seen so far looks... Yeah, just what we've seen in the trailers make it look more than links.
It does, but it could also very much be, so it's links, but there's also a story to it.
Yeah,
that's okay, that works.
I like links. Like, I'll jump on every now and again and do a couple of missions.
I would have stuck with links a lot longer if there was a story to it. Like, you had a story, but especially one with voiced characters.
True.
Very well designed characters. I would stick it out a lot longer.
I mean, like, I think that a lot of game companies are of the belief that handheld gaming that's not on a smartphone is dying, except for Nintendo, which is just like, yeah, have this, it's great. And I feel, which is sad because I love handheld devices, and it's just like the phone's fine, but like I like when they have like pads and stuff, like D-pads and stuff. I don't know, but maybe this is like the future of Digimon games, for, like for portable platforms. Maybe we'll still get games like world and story games on the PS4, but for the in terms of like handheld games, like I feel like maybe this is the future for Digimon games handheld wise, and that's why they're putting time and effort into it. And yeah, it's free, but maybe the next one won't be. Maybe the next one will be like a $20 app or something, and it's like a full game that you would expect to be playing on the Vita. Because like, let's be real, like Next Order on the Vita was so slow. Like I bought it when I was in Japan, and it was just so slow. The loading screens, the frame rate, it would all the things would just sort of jitter. It was just not good. And people were like, hey, why don't we get the English Next Order in on the Vita? I'm like, because it's bad. Like it's not good. Like the Vita's fine. I love the Vita.
That was one of the things everyone kept trying to explain when people were getting upset with Next Orders, is it was not really a game that worked to play. Like I remember Toyo was so disappointed about it.
Oh yeah.
Like they had been.
I do remember that.
They had been like ramping up for Next Order for like half a year, like getting really excited, and the game came out and just right off a cliff.
Yeah, I still have not played Next Order.
I have only played like maybe an hour or so. I don't know, I really liked Digimon World, and I liked the whole like raising Digimon thing when I was a kid, but now it's just kind of like, I don't know, like, oh, I did one mistake and now I have a bad Digimon, and now it's not good in battles, and like they get injured a lot, and it's just like, it feels like it stops the story a lot of the time, because I'm just like, okay, my Digimon's not strong enough to continue, I have to raise it and train it. And it was the same problem with Digimon World, but it's just kind of like, I don't have time to like keep on basically having to pause the story just so I can get my Digimon strong enough to continue the story. And that's why I prefer the story games, because it's like, I just want story. Like I think I played like
the story games are more my jam. I haven't played the world games, so I mean, I'd like to try Next Order. Like I'm kind of waiting for the cost to go down. Which it's kind of, it started to, but it's still got a ways to go.
It was under it was under 20 a few times.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. And we also got to see Erismon's evolutions. We've seen them, but we finally got details about them. Philmon and Stifilmon. I feel like we should.
Like
I feel like we'd be more excited if we hadn't seen them before. Like getting the names are very nice, but we already saw them and they're roughly exactly what we thought they would be.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little hard to get excited. It's like, hey, look, Agumon's in the game. Woo! And updates to some of the campaigns. They've been giving out Shikishis from the actors, which all look nice. I mean, we don't get any of these, but just retweeting was very nice. And the Namco one ended. They revealed there was a merciful mode level with more prizes. I feel like these Shikishis would be much better if there were at least little drawings or something on. They're very like vanilla ones.
Yeah.
But you know, they are what they are. It's nice that they're doing them.
Yeah, it's nice to get some cast involvement. Yeah. Again, this is just a mobile game.
Yeah. And then after I got back, I did the breakdown of the limited edition version of Butterfly, since the normal one was before Part 6 came out. I'm still very confused about the limited edition coming in the card. Like, we knew it would have a cardboard sleeve. I thought it was going to be like a sleeve around the CD case. I didn't realize it would just be the CD coming in I assume that's because of the poster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, still a great cover. Just very strange that the limited edition comes in a cardboard sleeve.
Yeah.
And they announced the goods for the upcoming Miyazaki concerts. I don't know why, but I love that stupid pen. I mean, just to go over them, it's a big sticker, a acrylic stand / keychain, and you know all these products feature Stradion, who Kenji Watanabe designed, and then basically a learning set which has a notepad with a nice case, and a pen which is a ballpoint pen, a stylus, a flashlight, and a smartphone stand. I don't know why, but I love this stupid pen every time I see it.
I love it so much. I really want it.
Yeah, I want to say, like, May, I want to say you got like a 3 a.m. message from me going, look at this fucking pen.
Yeah, I think I might have, maybe, I remember being sort of like semi-awake for it, so it might have been in the middle of the night, and I just sort of looked over and like, oh, okay, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, I just remember, like, it was the middle of the night, I'm ready to go to bed, I'm like, I gotta tell someone about this fucking pen, who might be around? May. Yeah, and those are all going to be available at the events, which are in the next few weeks, actually, and none of us are going. Yeah. Oh, well.
Nope.
They always end up selling some of the goods online later, and I'm 100% sure if that learning set goes up, we'll be talking about May ordering it on the podcast.
Yes!
I want the pen just because it looks like an awesome functional pen.
No,
like, nothing to do with Digimon.
That's why I want it.
Yeah.
It's not that it has anything to do with Digimon. It just looks like a nice pen, and it's like, wow.
I'm happy when I get a pen with a stylus with it. Adding a flashlight and a smartphone stand. Jeez.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like all three of us should get the pen and have it like the official pen of like the podcast.
I'm gonna next time. I work in office supplies. Next time we have a pen manufacturer in, I'm gonna tell them about this pen. It's like, get on this. I want one.
We need it. That can be one of our giveaways. We can just order a bunch of these stupid pens in with the will colors, and that can be podcast prizes.
There we go. I will.
You know what the word.
I'll talk to our BIC rep. We'll make this happen.
Here's the worst part. I don't know if we're joking or not at this point. I
like to think that we're never joking, and we always are joking at the same time.
I never joke about office supplies.
I sometimes joke about office supplies, but not often.
Serious business. They pay my salary, which pays for my Gatchmon plush.
Are we done with the pen?
I suppose.
I don't think we're ever gonna be done with this pen.
Yeah. Next time the episode will be all about the pen, but for now let's go ahead and move on. The final day of the Akihabara Try Music Cafe. I believe Akihabara is the first one closing, or two of them are closing it right at once, roughly. And this is in the next few hours in Japan. They're doing a final day event, twice on the last day with AIM and Ayumi Miyazaki. The special menu will not be available because they're doing a custom bento with just a ton of items in it, which I'm not going over because they did not go over the items as they come. It's just everything.
Yeah, is that supposed to be like one representing each character? Is that what they're going for? Just nine random
I think it's just a bento. Because the thing is they didn't menu it out in a way that it was easy to go over everything. They just literally went this, and some of them you can see like 5 or 6 things. I don't think it's meant to menu out. I think it's just a nice bento. It feels like the drinks maybe are a bit more themed, a little bit. They're gonna have soda, orange juice, and oolong tea. See, here's the problem. Oolong tea isn't that abnormal, but anytime it comes up, we have to sit there and go, is this, like, on purpose? And then everyone who goes gets the souvenir gift of a lunch mat featuring the final day. The square artwork from this, great for avatars.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally already laid out. You just have to crop out a little bit from each one.
And some of them, there's a little bit of read over, but
yeah, that's why I was saying cropping out a little bit from each one, but they're lined up great for that. And then the next ones, I mean, we've gone over this a lot, but still, we have the artwork from all the cards at this point, all of them, from both card sets.
Yeah.
And
these look great.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what I have to say about them.
Our Digimon Adventure is Adventure and O2. Or it's O2 and Try, sorry. And then the Chosen Children starter deck is Adventure and Try. And by Adventure and Try, what they mean is it's Taichi Yamato, Leomon, and then they throw in the 6 ultimates at the end.
Yep.
Alright, I'm trying to figure out, is there any card that does not look fantastic?
That doesn't look fantastic?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like what's
I was trying to pick. I was going through
No, no,
trying to pick favorites, and that's hard. That was hard enough.
Well, that's why I was thinking was, are there any that don't look good first? Like the ones that just have the crest symbols on them, I guess.
Floramon is underwhelming.
I feel like Sylphimon could be like, I mean, I really like Sylphimon, huge fan of Sylphimon. I feel like,
Yeah.
I guess it's just it's okay, like it's not bad, but it's just
It's
like
not as dynamic as some of the other ones.
I think
comparatively.
I think I'm gonna stick with my criticism that I've had for months, which is, it looks great, but that does not feel like Hawkmon from O2. Like, I know I've made that comment multiple times, but just like
it's obscured a lot by the slashing effect.
Yeah. It's the smile that bothers me. And I don't know why I can't get past that smile. It just really bothers me for some reason. So, favorites then. I don't know, they all look so good.
I like Hawkmon's evolved forms. I like the Akilamon and Shurimon.
Oh, no,
I don't think Shurimon gets enough love.
I love Shurimon.
Yeah, Shurimon doesn't get enough love. He looks great here, but it's just, there's so many and they all look so great. It's hard to kind of like.
I love Bakumon. He looks so happy, and he deserves to be happier.
Little upside down Bakumon. That's great.
He's having a good day. I love him. He's gonna get tummy rubs.
He's rolling around in the sky getting tummy rubs.
And also, like, Betamon's adorable. He looks determined. He's like, maybe one day someone will like me. I'm like, I like you, Betamon.
He has to evolve first. That's.
And
He looks like so happy.
And Hackmon looks exactly like Hackmon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just sort of that's very distinctive kind of style for Hackmon too.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite because they really all do look good. Like I really like the alternate versions of the X cards where we get the front-facing shots of them. They all look so good. And hopefully we'll get a better shot of that Meikumon card soon, because that really looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Just running through the flower field, it is hilariously over cute, basically.
No way she could ever do any harm to anybody.
And then right below, that's the
And then there's this one.
Yes. I mean, that was one of the first ones we got a good shot of, if I remember right. But yeah, the cards all look great. They're out. They're already being scalped on eBay.
Wow.
Kidnap May, because she probably ordered a case that you can steal.
I have the booster box, and I have the starter deck that just came out.
I was kidding, but I guess I'm not.
It just arrived. I'm very excited.
Yeah. And on to the CSA DIGIVICE Tri-Memorial. We got a nice... They brought back MONMON MEMO, which they had started for the Pendulums, to show off these. The packaging looks great. I still love the little card they're including with it and how the artwork matches the prior one. And I love that they threw up the early artwork of Merciful Mode from Kenshi Watanabe.
Yeah.
It feels more like classic Omegamon than what ended up being used, though.
A little bit, yeah.
Like, this is less slender. Of course, I believe they also mentioned that this was the first, like, full drawing of him, also. I still love the design of that character so much. And I'm pretty sure I plan to order this. I'm guessing May's gonna get it.
The CSA DIGIVICE.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already got it on pre-order.
Okay. And I like the look of the like, the blue lines really, like, stand out well. Yeah, and that's still that's available to order for another month. I'm really looking forward to that. And on to more figures. They did previews of ATLURKABUTERIMON and ALPHAMON.
I'm so excited for ALPHAMON.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know.
Yeah, ALPHAMON, they just previewed the box, which really looks like they made it look different than the prior ones because it's kind of stand out on its own. Like the foil they have on the attack and everything, and Doraemon looks great on it. And then we've already gotten to see basically a complete ATLURKABUTERIMON box, which is, I'm pretty sure it's the same box they showed us like a month ago. They're just saying it's mostly final now. The figure looks great. I love that we got the preview of it, showing the not painted but all the materials. Like, I love that the metal's focusing around the chest and the horn because it really just stands out. And then they did the little interview article with Kakudo and Watanabe. And I don't know why, it's just hilarious to see them playing with it. And they really look like really earnest about it when they're playing. Like, Kakudo has this look of joy on his face. And
it's especially cute with Tentomon.
Well, it's especially because this is like we've gotten some good figures. This is gonna be like the standout one, I think.
Yeah.
Like, this one just looks amazing.
This one also kind of goes beyond, you know, your typical fare. Like, Tentomon's such a series tied type of Digimon.
Yeah. Especially because I mean, like you're saying, it really does feel like this is one of the ones that it's adventure. That's what Tentomon is. Like, Agumon fits into 100 different places. Right. Tentomon, you just have that voice in your head going, Koshiro-han. And I can't.
Well, Hacker's memory as well.
Yeah, but I mean.
A little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, like, as far as, like, when you think of Agumon.
It's the one that when you look at Tentomon, you immediately think adventure.
Yeah. When you see Agumon, it could be from 100 different places.
Sure. Yeah.
And I got my Angewomon figure and did the breakdown of it, and I know May got hers.
Mine arrived on, in the same day as the Battle Spirits cards, and
I
really like the way that I set, and I got a bike as well, which is very exciting. I set up all the evolving spirits with their Digivices, because I have the Hikari Digivice, like Japanese Digivice, so I put them all together, and I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, and Bandai did a bunch of previews. They did that preview event we were talking about. Did we talk about the preview event, or did that end up happening so far after that we didn't end up talking about it last time? I think we found out about it like right before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Figure looks good. Good.
I had to tell you, Bandai had a nice display for them at Anime Central.
Yeah. I gotta say,
a nice display of the both the Digimon and some of the other figures as well.
Yeah, they did the nice transforming video. I gotta say, this is probably the weakest one overall once you actually get the figure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the port it doesn't hold on to the wing pack the tightest, and it also feels kind of like cheating.
It keeps on falling off. Like,
yeah.
It's
Yeah, but in the sense of cheating, what I mean is there's not really a transformation. You kind of fold Angewomon up, put it inside the shell, and then you flip around the scarf and that becomes the hands. There's not really like a solid transformation happening.
Yeah, I mean, like, it looks good, but like, yeah, you're right. It's not there's no like magic or like
I mean,
intelligence to it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not sure how they would do it like that without, because I think when everyone originally saw Tailmon, the expectation was it would just unfold into the wings. Basically like the old Patamon figure. And I'm glad they didn't do that, but I'm not sure how else you would do Tailmon to Angewomon minus that way.
Yeah.
But this is the weakest one because, well, like I mentioned, it cheats to a degree, and also, and this is, I'm not the only person who pointed this out, the inside isn't quite as nice as a Fig Arts, but that's sort of what it is. It's sort of just a low Fig Arts, basically. Like, you don't need Angewomon to do anything for the transformation, so that figure should just be spectacular as far as everything. When the most exciting thing about it is the hair can be posed. I mean, it's still nice. It's just the other ones are so much nicer. That's really the issue. Is before this we got Diablomon, who is like is just fantastic, spectacular, and we waited almost 20 years for a good figure of him.
Yeah, and like also to be fair, the Angewomon one was one that like I think I was looking forward to the least, besides like Agumon and Gabumon, because like we already sort of have ones like that. But the Angewomon one was kind of like one I was kind of like, I'm not a huge fan, but like I'm getting excited. I want all of them, but like it was one I wasn't excited for, so I'm fine with that being the sort of less than exciting one.
I was excited for it because while it's one of these signature ones and we get tons of stuff of Tailmon and Angewomon, this feels like one of the ones they should have done in the original line. You know what I mean? Like we got this is one of the ones that we should have gotten roughly 20 years ago, and it's very nice. It feels like, and I don't know how they would have done it, but because this is effectively one of the cheaper ones. Like this costs the same as War Greymon rather than some of the high prices. But like I was saying, before this we got Diablomon, who was the big 20-year wait figure. And immediately after we're getting ALPHAMON, which is the most complex, crazy-ass thing some of us have ever seen. Like, looking at the way that figure seems to transform gives me a fucking headache. And, yeah, but we'll see more Digivolving Spirits, and I still really think this is not the last we've seen of this mold. I mean, I know you and me talked about May. I really would not be shocked if they did either a Meicoomon or a Lady Devamon remolding from this.
I would love a Meicoomon one. That'll be really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. You could make the shell Meicoomon super easy, and the inside you could remold to either be Meicrackmon or Regulmon without much trouble. It really feels like and doing Black Tailmon to Lady Devamon would be so easy. It's almost expected, I think. We'll see. And moving on to just non-stop try at this point, we got the art from the June ANIMEDIA NEWTYPE. So let's.
I have the June ANIMEDIA.
So let's.
I want it.
So
it's good.
Let's go over this in order of worst to best. The worst is the normal ANIMEDIA image because I mean, as much as to a degree we all try to be kind of even-handed when we talk, that Omegamon looks horrible as shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that really does not look good.
Yeah, but to be fair, like, a lot of Omegamon, like, if you look at him front on, he looks really bad. Like, it's the same with the
front on
figures.
doesn't really flatter.
But what I mean is like, they've made the head too wide. The coloring doesn't work at all. It doesn't really look like Merciful Mode.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't look right at all.
Right.
He looks like he's put on a bit of weight. Like, he's let himself go a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my real issue with it. Then we have.
I'd love to see the text translated though.
Yeah.
I do wonder what's in this one.
Then we have the NEWTYPE image, which really nice, but it also feels like this could have been the one we got 3 years ago when Try was starting.
Yeah, this felt like a beginning of Try type of image.
Yeah. And then we got the Kuwahara tribute image, which just looks fantastic.
This is going up on my wall at some point.
I want it so badly.
Especially since I have the movie, one of the previous ones.
Yeah,
I've got the one with Mako, Joe, and Mimi.
Look, at some point, we need there to be a Try art book that just has all these posters from everything.
Absolutely.
Oh, I dig that.
Yeah, because there's been so many images in the magazines, and these 6 images themselves, and I don't know when I figured it out that each one was from the prior film. It feels like I should have caught on to that really quickly, but I didn't.
Uh-oh.
I don't remember when I caught on to it, though. Like, the first one shows Adventure and Try. The second one is from Part 1. The third one is from Part 2.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized that until, like, Part 3 came out, what they were actually doing. Because I think I even recall... I think it was me and Victor when the fourth one came out, going, it's weird, it's almost like it has to do with Part 3. But, yeah, I think this is maybe the second or third... I think the best one was probably Part 1 or Part 2, though.
I really love the part two. The part
Yeah,
two
the
one.
part 2 one's really cute.
Yeah,
Yeah, part one's good, but like part two's good, and the part 5 one's quite good because they're all holding hands because they're friends. I love it.
Mhm.
Also girlfriends. Also,
Yeah.
Megumon's adorable, and is she like cuddling Palmon's leg?
Mhm.
Ah.
Yeah, great image, and it's hard to say anything other than great because it just is.
Yeah.
And
I'm really happy to have this one.
Yeah. And then yesterday, they did a screening of Tri Part 6 with live commentary with director Monaga, Kenji Watanabe, one of the Tri producers, and Hitomi Yoshida, who's Mimi. I don't know why, but I just love that it's the director, one of Digimon's designers, a producer, and Mimi.
Yay!
And in the photo, she's just holding the Palmon plush.
Mhm.
I love her.
Yeah.
She just wanted to, like, I'm free. Let's do this.
Yeah, and someone actually went over some of the stuff they could remember from it.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff they went over was actually interesting. Like originally, and for Part 6, they were gonna have Taichi and Yamato hold hands at the end,
Mhm.
but they decided
I like the fist bump. I think
Yeah,
that just fit.
yeah. Well, they
really
went.
well.
They went.
The hand holding would have been like reminiscent of
That-
the
that's a-
Wargreymon and Metal Garurumon scene.
That's why they were gonna do it originally. They decided they were a bit too old, so it would feel a bit weird. So they kind of gave
No,
up
it
on it, went with the fist bump.
It would have been so good.
Well, here's why it also makes sense that they were planning it, because they flashed back to it in Part 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they point out that Joe's glasses change at the end.
Mhm. I've seen a couple people notice that.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing that they point out, though, was that Koshiro ran 5 kilometers.
Apparently within like 5 minutes too.
I love him.
Because I think the reboot countdown timer started while he was still in his office,
Yeah.
and there was like 5 minutes left
And
by
then-
the time he got back to the group.
And then
He
they
did it.
and then they laugh with how
It's movie countdown time.
yeah, and then they laugh with how calm everyone is in one of the scenes. They also kind of mock that they ended up putting a bunch of the Digimon in glasses towards the end, and then a glasses collaboration was announced right around the same time.
Yeah.
Although ironically, we have not seen the glasses from the collaboration yet. And looking at that photo, I don't think I noticed before, but Patamon is in like a baby strap. I don't think I noticed that before. And I don't know.
Patamon is Piomon's disguise.
I still think the best one they point out was how much they think Hiroki had fun just going nuts as the mysterious man at the end.
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
They acknowledge all the fan servicey poses for Ordnemon too.
See, that's one of the things I wish we could have heard, because it feels like what they meant was that it was this crazy, creepy, world-ending thing, and they still want to try to make it look beautiful in some way. Well, you know what I mean,
More
though.
like Butterful.
I appreciate that they acknowledge some of the ridiculousness of it.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have to, because it is ridiculous from the start. I mean,
yeah, and not just Ordnemon, just a lot of the stuff in this. Like they're just sort of, yeah, that was pretty silly, wasn't it?
Or I like how they point out the last time we see Daigo, it was originally going to be like a nice illustration.
Yeah.
And they decided.
No, I like what they ended up.
Yeah, and they decided the bloodied hand probably looked better.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those things where they've done 2 of them. I really hope they've recorded them and we will hear them someday.
Oh yeah.
And I still love that little Palmon plush. Just the way she's posing it in the photo with the hands up and everything. And then they extended Try to a 4th week with a new theater gift, and it looks so amazing. Apparently, they had originally asked Kenji Watanabe to just draw Meikumon and Agumon, and he chose that he wanted to do like a welcoming Meikumon to Digimon type image.
Sure.
And
she's part of the family now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was #1 on the mini theater charts for 3 weeks.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm not sure I really expect it to be there for a 4th week, but we'll see.
I wasn't expecting it to be there for a 3rd.
No, I really wasn't either. I believe week 4 is 13 theaters instead of 17, which is still a shockingly high holdover.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I'm trying to decide if I really expect them to do a 5th week, because you would expect them to, but that's also when the Blu-ray's out, and I wonder if they might just not rather basically cut their losses when they're getting to go, oh, look how high it's charting, and just be done. But it also feels like, when you think of Toei, they probably, if they can, they'll want to push this one to be the longest.
Well, how long did Part 5 run?
That
one ran forever.
I believe it stayed in the walled up through 7 or 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But the problem is this is also like peak summer movie season around the world.
Sure.
So I'm just not sure if they're gonna be able to push it that long.
Right.
But we'll see. And Try Part 5 is up for pre-order in US and UK.
Mm-hmm.
We get the Johnny Young Bosch interview. If you order from Shout, you get a lithograph, and it shows up 2 weeks early. Are we going to expect this to show up at Anime Expo?
It would surprise me to see something. I don't think it's going to be quite as elaborate as what we got last year,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it would surprise me to get a little bit.
Well, I mean in the sense of, do you think they'll have copies there early?
For Part 5?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's kind of what I expect. I mean, the rest of us will get it August 7th. In the UK, it's scheduled for July 30th. I kind of feel like it's destined for a delay.
Yeah, that feels a little weird.
Because they've told us they can't release it before the US release.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I already have it on pre-order.
When did the UK announce that?
Like 2 or 3. It was pretty close to when we got ours on Friday.
It is weird that they would announce it after they get the US states.
Yeah, that was the only thing I was confused. It might have just been that they weren't paying attention, or they originally scheduled it for July 30th. That's the date they had down, and they had to announce it, and they'll just announce a delay later.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And then, of course, me and AR got to see it in theaters. Before that, there was the Regal art print for Regal Rewards Club members, which I don't know why. I was kind of surprised that it used the home video art.
Yeah, I don't think have any of the U.S. releases done anything with the home video art?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, it was nice. It was nice to see. I actually liked the way they did the 1 through 4 catch up this time.
You know, I wasn't quite as into that, especially after the Joshua Seth one before.
Well,
this one was just like I just got just the Japanese digests. You mean?
They weren't the exact Japanese digest, I don't think, were they?
I don't know if it was the exact ones, but that's what they felt like.
It was weird that they were subtitled, but I didn't mind getting just quick type ones.
Well, I did because the subtitles were cropped off in the theater.
But that goes to my issue being that it was confusing that they were subtitled in the first place, is what I mean. Yeah. I feel like if they'd been dubbed, it would have made sense.
Sure.
And then at the end, we had the interview with Johnny Young Bosch, which I don't want to say it felt like someone was holding a gun to his head. He was very good at it, but it really was the wrong person to interview because he just doesn't have much to say about the franchise because he hasn't had that much to do with it.
It's very standard voice actor interview type fare.
And he really did try, but it should have been grabbing, Jeff or Colleen or Joshua Seth again.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who has, because how much, ignoring Fusion, which he did a few days on, what's the most that he could have done with Try? Maybe 12 hours at most? And maybe a few conventions since then?
Mm-hmm.
It just
It's also strange because, to attach it to movie 5, which is not a particularly TK-centric movie.
No. It really... This would be the one, like, if you were going to interview someone new, you would do Tara Sands.
Yeah, this would be a really good one. I really liked Tara's performance in movie 5.
She really does well.
Was really strong in that one.
May, think up questions since you're not going to have much to say about this.
I don't really have much questions, but
Okay.
like I didn't particularly enjoy Chapter 5 when I saw it, so I guess I'll watch it
Um,
when I'm able to legally.
I really
But
like the dub, but me and AR are 100% in agreement. The Part 5 dub probably has the worst rewrite there is.
that's awful because the
It's
previous ones haven't been super okay.
Gen-
Like
gen-
they've had issues here and there.
there have been issues here and there, but there's been nothing too problematic.
This one,
The
this one with the previous movies, the issues have been just occasionally they'll throw in a line that doesn't quite match with continuity.
here,
Or there's a couple little tiny things.
Yeah.
Here it was just there was some spots where they were just really all
that's-
over the map.
That is not good.
generically, it's good. It's just one or two moments. The problem is those one or two moments are stuff like Tai Chi's speech before the climax of the film when he's saying we're gonna deal with this. At one point, he's rambling about how they're gonna trick Jessmon into killing Mekumon. It's like who?
What?
It's like
Yeah,
is-
right.
yeah. It's like did the person writing this pay attention? He at what? Because in AR, you can tell me if I
I
imagined
felt-
it. You can tell me if I imagined it. Am I wrong, or did that actually get said? Where at one point, Tai is talking about how they're going to trick Jessmon into killing Mekumon
At
for
one
them.
point, he's trying to like you can't tell whether he's trying to like he's saying that he wants Omnimon to pull away from Mekumon, but you can't tell. It's like at one point he says that he wants it because Jessmon will kill Mekumon. At one point it's because he doesn't want to fight Mekumon anymore. It's really confusing.
Yeah.
And it just looks like he's talking out of two sides of his face right now, and it's just I need a map to translate that. Like I
Yeah.
could write a full system restore review, partially because we had some theater issues and the screen went black for like 5 minutes.
Maybe that was just there. Maybe that was just part of the movie.
Nah, it was fine
No,
for me.
That was really early in the movie. Like it was during Hackmon talking to Daigo. But later on, that Tai speech was so confusing. Like I don't even feel comfortable reviewing it until I can get a transcript of it because it is just that insane.
If that Tai speech wasn't that bad, I would have no issue with the dub. Really, there's always one or two little things.
Other than that, the movie is generally fine.
Yeah, it's just that one.
There's a few things that I quite I picked up a lot more on. Like Mekumon. I liked Mako's role throughout the movie. I could appreciate what they were doing with Mako in this movie a lot more with the dub. The idea that she is taking what she's hearing from the other kids and she is trying to apply that. She thinks she's doing something. She thinks she's doing the right thing. It's not.
Yeah.
Like what she thinks she's doing, it's like, okay, what I have to do for Mekumon is I have to take the responsibility away from her and put it on my shoulders. And instead, that's absolutely not what she's supposed to be doing. She's supposed to be, sharing in the pain, and going through it with her instead of trying to take it from her.
Yeah.
Like that part I thought came through really well in the dub.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get to that end part, and it's just.
And I feel like the high point again is Jeff as the mysterious man. Like every line's gold.
Yeah, I mean it's not as prominent in this movie.
Yeah, it's not. And then we got.
I would like if I had to pick the highlight, I'd say Terra-san's performance. Hikari is just.
Hikari is great. It's just I love every time we hear Jeff just rambling as the mysterious man. But yeah, Terra-san's is the VIP of Part 5. And I'm trying to. The only other moment other than the Tai thing that was kind of confusing is at one point the mysterious man speaks with a different voice.
But
I caught that too. I'm not sure if that's
I
if
think
that was
I think the idea
get Jeff in for a pickup or something.
I think the idea was meant to be that it wasn't him about to come out of his disguise like the other times. So they sort of went with a more Ken-ish voice. But it's also possible that because it was a shadowed shot from the back, they didn't realize it was him. He was hanging upside down. So who knows?
I'd be sloppy if that was the case.
Yeah, it's well, we're never really gonna find out. It's part of the issue.
Well, I mean, we'll watch it again when I get it on DVD.
Well,
then we'll see and then we'll see what they do with Part 6 because Mysterious Man goes so off the rails in Part 6 that it might be building up to that. And like that's they just go with that sort of voice in movie 6.
Yeah, we'll see. But the thing is in part 5, the worlds aren't starting to coalesce yet or anything.
Right.
It's weird regardless, though. I think we can agree on that. I think that's kind of all we have to say about the part 5 dub, though. At least for now.
I wrote a short review. It's on my site. You can do that. I'll write my full one when I get the DVD and can properly parse out what the hell Ty was trying to say.
I should mention for everyone, and AR and May can see this, the actual notes that I put down for us discussing it, the primary thing is what the fuck was Ty babbling about?
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is just weird.
I try to take notes when I'm watching this, and I got it when Ty started talking. I got a little ways in and just stopped. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, that's one of those moments where there is no twisting it around to try to defend it, like with the Emperor voice. It was just done poorly. Yeah,
and those are the kind of dub changes I probably dislike the most. Like, when you just get a continuity thing wrong, like, okay, whatever, laugh at it and move on. It's when you mess stuff like that up that really ticks me off.
See, I'm not even sure I consider it a dub change. It almost feels like 3 different scripts were written and then they were just blended together.
I think the writer was so focused on trying to get the lines a certain way that they didn't quite get what the point of that conversation was supposed to be.
Yeah, that's about right. And moving on to questions. While you guys think up questions, do we want to say anything about Tri Part 6? Or do we want to wait until we've seen, it dubbed and done and everything?
Yeah, I mean, since the last podcast, I did put all of my System Restore posts up, so I've got plenty of things I've said about Tri. I did like it a little bit more on the rewatch. I don't know if I still probably would put it last, but that's just because, some of the things it had to do is sort of necessary sacrifices, I'd say, for the cohesion of the movie, for the whole movie, all of the movies in general.
Yeah. I
did appreciate the tone of the ending more on the second watch. Like, I think last time I was talking about how we didn't get that bombastic ending that we usually get from some of the other series. I think it was better that Tri didn't go with that. Well, it's just having that more subdued ending. Since it doesn't, it's more appropriate to me since it's not really a victory. And that's sort of the point I took out of that. Like, they're not really winning anything. They're just taking care of their business. These are adults now. They're doing their job, and that's that.
Yeah, it also feels like the ending fit the mood of Tri in general. Yeah. But yeah, we'll have more to say about Tri when it's done for everyone, for lack of a better phrasing. Does anyone want to muse on what we expect for the next Digimon? Because we've got no real information past that.
I'm still thinking it's probably going to be a little bit more
adventure,
extending a little bit more with the Tri universe.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if Motonaga comes back because he's directing 2 other anime right now. Anytime I look at the guy's credits, it's like, the dude's a machine with how, like, he was directing, like, multiple things while he was directing Tri.
Yeah. I would not be surprised, to be honest.
If he came back?
I feel like he could come back.
Yeah. I would like him to come back, and I would like him to get more of a budget.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because he is well known for doing well with a low budget. I would like to see him get some money.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think Tri has been successful enough that it deserves some money for a new project.
Yeah, give them some extra money. You can do 20 cafes all at once. That will pay for the extra animation.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of an update to something we talked about before. Saban Capital's closing Saban brands. I don't know why anyone's surprised by that, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, Saban Brands was literally selling off everything they had for $500 million. There's nothing left for them to be open to do.
Right.
And Saban makes far more money from his real estate and other stuff to deal with it to start from scratch again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to questions. Joe wants to know, is it possible the dub Blu-ray could tweak that dialogue from time, and they could if they're aware of it and if they dealt with it. I don't know. I expect them to.
And if they care.
I don't know if it's that they care. I don't know if they'd be aware of the issue.
Yeah.
Like it's not a technical thing. Like this is just a pretty awkwardly worded script, and it's sort of, you just sort of have to stand by that and run with that. Like that's the product you put in theaters. It should be the product you should stand by when you put it on video.
Well, here's the thing.
And also, I mean, the idea of rewriting that, getting Josh back in to re-record the lines, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. Here's the thing, that sort of thing is done, like with modern simuldubs. That is done, where tweaks are done after the fact.
Sure.
I just don't know if I expect Toei to be the company to do it.
Yeah.
It could, but it won't. Jonathan wants to know, what do we think is the worst villain in Digimon?
Devimon.
It's got to be one of the ones from Frontier. I can't remember what.
Not a bad answer.
Basically, villains in Frontier, I guess, except for maybe Trubimon. Actually, like Trubimon's probably the only good villain, I would say.
Actually, I didn't hate the villains in Frontier. I hated what they did with the villains in Frontier, but the villains themselves were all right. Like even the Royal Knights, like Roto Knightmon, wasn't a poorly written villain. It's just it was a poorly written arc. Like I sort of like the things they did. Or I like what they tried to pretend to represent, I should say.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of which villain do I who do I dislike villain
wait, no, I don't like the D Reaper. I mean, like it's effective, but like I don't know, it's just
I'm gonna agree with that, because it is kind of just a generic it's just a generic unstoppable blob thing. Yeah, I'd say D Reaper. The D Reaper is we don't have a character as the final boss, so here's an unstoppable thing.
I like character.
I thought it worked. I thought that worked well for the context of Tamers and what they were going for.
I get that.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a character.
Yeah, it works in the context. It's just not.
I mean, that's sort of the reason I don't like Devimon very much. It doesn't really have a character.
He's an evil guy.
He's level 1 boss.
Yeah.
He's just like, hey,
he is the level 1 boss. Yeah.
He's a devil. Like
I don't know.
motive. You're evil.
I have to be honest. I sort of like at the end, and this is one of those things where I haven't watched in a while, so I may be fully imagining it. But I remember him going like, "There's far worse things out there," or something along those lines. And I'm trying to remember if I've imagined that or not.
Yeah.
No, I think I remember it.
That's how weak he is. He knows he's not that great.
Yeah, that's just interesting to me.
It's like, yeah, you beat me, but I'm kind of a pushover anyway, so good luck with the next bosses, because they could kick my ass.
And Fantasy World wants to know, what do we think's in store for us from DigiFest? If there's, they're doing the Digimon Thanksgiving event. I think they're going to announce whatever the hell's coming next, and if we're lucky, a Blu-ray box of something.
I hope so.
I hope not a complete Tri Blu-ray box set, because I already have all of the Tri Blu-rays. But yeah, I would assume.
I think it'd be a little early to do a Tri-full Blu-ray.
A Blu-ray box I would not expect. I would not be shocked if they went 4K box with HDR. I see that as vaguely possible.
I would be surprised if they didn't use that event to at least have maybe a small TV.
Something. They've got to have something for the new.
Yeah.
Even just some sort of a hint or teaser for it.
Yeah. Well, it's like the original teaser for Try was literally nothing.
But it was, it sort of led us in that direction. Like it was like,
what I mean
we're
is,
gonna get high school aged Taichi. That was like, if we got something like that.
Yeah.
That that'll tide me over.
Yeah, that would be acceptable.
Just narrow down the options a little bit.
And Joe popped up with, let's assume Meikumon were to show up again, would we like a full evolution sequence for her for various forms? If she showed up in the normal context...
I wanted her to have one in the future.
Yeah. If she showed up again, I would expect her to be treated more... sort of like, crap, I can't remember his name, Silver Poop Guy.
Platinum Sukamon?
No, in Hunters.
Oh, Damemon.
Yeah, where once they brought him back, he was just a normal partner.
Yeah, he became
Yeah.
Suamon. His evolution song is, I love the music in Cross Wars and Hunters, but all the unique evolution songs are so good. Oh my god.
But yeah,
I love Hunters.
But yeah.
Don't at me. Like, Hunters is so enjoyable.
Yeah,
like,
I hate Hunters, but the music is good.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But
And I do like the way Damemon, Tuarmon, those guys. That was a pretty good sequence they did with that.
But yeah,
I actually don't really want Mekumon back in a follow-up. Like, I kind of like the idea that it is permanent. Like, I'd rather have that permanence with Mako and Mekumon. But if she does come back, then absolutely give her some sequences.
Give her proper sequences. Show us the forms that people were basically chomping at the bit to see because they had them in other products.
Which, because they had them in other products, they just assumed that they would show up.
I kind of like that they didn't, to be honest. Not because I don't like the forms, but because it means we didn't get a turn at the last minute to... And Mekumon saves
Yeah, if that's the story they're going to go with, then I completely understand it that they didn't try it. I'm glad they didn't try to shoehorn that in there.
Yeah. May can answer this question first. What is your favorite partner in Atmon?
Oh, all of them.
No, you have to name one.
Oh, Dokamon.
I am literally holding
Gatchmon.
a Gatchmon plush.
Like, Gatchmon's great, but like, I don't know,
Dokamon is great.
I
think all of them is the correct answer.
Like, it changes. Like, my favorite will change. Sometimes it's like, man, I love Museumon. Sometimes like, man, I really like Hackmon. How like when he's not with Ray, he's like hyper.
I had an Offmon phase.
Yeah, Offmon's cute. Offmon's just really, really cute. But like, it depends on how I feel. But at the moment, I don't know. I want like Dokamon to like be a little puppy dog. I'm like, what are we doing now? Okay, we're gonna go somewhere. I'm gonna follow you everywhere. Let's do something. Let's go out.
When you think about the Atmon post-series, you know, they're still around with their partners and stuff. Yeah. Dokamon and Eri post-Atmon would be fantastic.
Look, I know. I just love them so much.
The best partner is very clearly Gatchmon in his pumpkin outfit.
Or Hajime as Sleepmon.
Yes,
no,
Sleepmon
pumpkin outfit.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was good.
Yeah, give them time to think up a few more questions.
Man, Atmon was so good. I wish that I had that feeling about Try. Like, whenever I think about Atmon, I'm just like overwhelmed with this love and this happiness. But when I think of Try, I'm just like, oh, that was alright.
Could it be because you're soulless, May?
But Atmon's so good. Atmon gives me a soul. But like, something I've also noticed is that maybe it's just from what I can see, but like people all of a sudden have gone quiet about wanting a Tamers sequel because of how Try went down.
I don't think it's quite how Try went down. I think it's that everyone got to read Tamers 2018, and while it's very interesting, it's not very good as a story.
Oh, yeah.
I think there was a lot of fear for a potential Tamers sequel until a little while, like a month after the Tamers, until it came out, and like it's kind of hushed up a little bit. Like, I think they realized at some point, it's like, this probably isn't going to happen, is it?
Yeah. I just think Tamers is fine as a series. Like, it sort of, there's, you know, I know there's a bit of continuation, but then we have it from, like, the CD drama that came out, like, decades ago, and then we have the new CD drama. I don't know, it's all just, like, okay, like, we don't have to continue that story.
Well,
I thought Tamers was probably the series I least wanted a sequel for.
Here's part of the issue, at least, I think, for me, and I think it's kind of why it's quieted down a little bit. Konaka very often does not stick the landing, and he really stuck the landing really good in Tamers. And the ending of Tamers has unlimited potential. You can see that going almost any direction you want. And to do a sequel, you have to either go one of two ways. Either they got the Digimon back, or they didn't. And either way, it kind of steals that potential away.
Yeah.
And I think it's more interesting to just end with, and something's happening, we just don't know what. It's not necessarily a big villain showing up, but we don't know. And everyone gets to imagine for themselves exactly what happens. Because that's also kind of unique for Digimon. Like, O2 ends with, it's years later, it's peaceful, we do get to see the kids go off on an adventure, but by and large, we know what happens. Frontier...
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that the epilogue of Zero Duo ask more questions than answered, and I'm still kind of bitter about that, and I'm glad Tri did come along to try to fill in some of those gaps and say, yeah, it's this world has problems, we know.
Yeah.
I'm glad Tri established that. Like, that was important to me to see that.
Yeah, but then stuff like Frontier and Savers both have endings that end.
But even then, like Frontier, I think there's, potential with these characters and with the world that if you put them in, writers that would be able to take those and really run with those.
Yeah, but what I mean is as it ends, there is no, and maybe there's more. It ends with them saying goodbye, and then them finding Koichi and him being fine. It solidly ends. Savers ends.
Well, yeah, I mean the series.
But that's what
series ends.
But what I mean is Tamers ends specifically on a note of you can decide for yourself what happens. It ends on an imaginative moment. The rest generally have more, for lack of a better term, solid endings. And I don't mean solid. I could think there would be more. Like you could easily tell more Savers. Yeah, like Savers. That ending was very, very much suggesting that you could do a sequel with that. But what I mean is it ends, but it doesn't feel like there's an open ending to it. Like it ends. We see it
feels kind of open to me.
We see everyone in their lives years later, and we see Masaru and Agumon jumping through the digital world, basically.
That was so good. I love it.
Yeah, and that's like I could watch more of this.
Oh no!
That's my reaction to the Savers ending.
Yeah,
I could continue here.
Oh no, easily. But what I mean is it doesn't inherently suggest more what comes next. Is what I mean.
Right. Sure.
Tamers is kind of unique in that it ends with and what happens what's next moment.
Yeah, that's why I think Tamers ending and that being it works really well for Tamers. Yeah. Other series, I could easily see more going on with that story, and I would be interested to see where they go with that story. Tamers is like, okay.
No, but that's why I mean that Tamers kind of works better without a continuation.
Yeah.
Because you don't necessarily know what would come next for the others, in the fashion of you can write down an ending, but there's nothing suggested. But the way Tamers ends suggests anything you want. Yeah. Doesn't look like there's any more questions. We'll give them one more chance and then we'll call it.
Okay.
Any con stuff you wanted to bring up, AR, since, you were very excited that whole con. Anything you wanted to talk about from it that you didn't mention earlier?
I think I got everything. Okay. Like, we had a really good cosplay. I have some photo shoot photos are up now. Had a friend who did a Haru cosplay, which was really good.
I saw that. That was so good.
I know. She was really good with that. I did notice the Digivolving Spirits, the War Greymon that Bandai had at their booth. That Digivolving Spirit there was only $45. So they're really keeping that pretty affordable.
Yeah.
Also did want to announce that a while ago I said something about my con, Kitsune Con in Green Bay in July, that we were going to have a guest that was particularly relevant to, like, Digimon fans would be kind of interested in, that I couldn't talk about back then. Now I can talk about it. It is Wendy Lee.
Ooh,
that's a
voice of... Yeah, right? Yeah, the original voice of TK, among a lot of other roles that we're probably more excited about.
Dude, she's in Danganronpa V3, and oh my god, the voice is just like, it's weird because the character's so weird, but then like it's just TK's voice, and just like it's like I have this moment, I'm just like, oh god, why is TK saying these things?
Right.
Why does TK want to be tied up? What's happening? What is happening?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. Wendy Lee Kitsune Con in Green Bay, July 20th through the 22nd.
Okay, you'll send me that information later, and I'll throw it in the notes for everyone.
Okay.
Jonathan asks, if you had ATMON crossover with another season of Digimon, what season would you want to be? I feel like we already got it. I mean, we already got it.
I'm writing Atmon being crossed over with all of them. That's my answer. I am writing that story right now.
Yeah, for me, we got like the exact one that I wanted.
Yeah, like, or maybe like Tamers, because they're both sort of like, they're both fans of Digimon in some way. Like Haru is a fan of Digimon, the mobile game, and Takado is a fan of Digimon, the card.
I just wrote a scene of Haru and Takado geeking over the video game.
Yeah, I just want them to be fans of Digimon together. I'm like, oh my god, you know this thing. Oh my god, you have this thing in your world, and they just sort of, that'd be good.
Now, before we finish, and actually, neither of you guys know I was going to do this. May will be excited about it though. I went through the questionnaire they included with the Angewomon Digivolving Spirits figure and found a few things I thought everyone would be very interested in seeing.
Okie dokie.
So they had different section asking, you know, very specific and suggestive questions.
Oh no.
So here's one section which is basically what are your expectations for Digivolving Spirits?
Expectations.
So the first So the first one is finish all 8 Digimon from Adventure, and you know these are all check boxes. I feel like that's an obvious one. Not just Agumon to War Greymon, but also characters like Metal Greymon. A completely new Omegamon figure. I feel like that's an obvious one. Magnamon and the Royal Knights.
Ooh.
Black War Greymon, etc. I want the enemy characters.
Yeah, I like the enemies.
Adventure 02 characters like Paledramon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tamers characters like Dukemon. Frontier characters like Agnemon. Savers characters like Shine Greymon. Cross Wars characters. Aptly Monsters characters.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I want a Gatchmon Digivolving Spirit.
Yeah. You could do that.
Use different materials like more die cast. Even if it's expensive, do something really good.
Yeah, I mean, like if something's really expensive, like even like if as long as it's really really good, like it's fine.
Lower the price to make it easier to buy.
Yeah, but that also might mean lower the quality though, and I mean lower the price always good, except if it's like make the quality really 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 bad. I'm like, no, don't do that. Villains do that.
And then the next section was, what do you expect from Digimon figures in the future? Do Digivolving Spirits where classic figures are redone? Digivolving Spirits of new figures that weren't in the old figure line? High-priced deluxe Digivolving Spirits figures with more sophisticated before and after forms? Bring back doing fig arts? Do more fig arts zeros? Do more low-priced figures like Gashapon and DIGICOLLE? And the last one in that section was do high-end figures like the Gundam Metal Build line, which is basically a line of basically action figures that are $250 to $300 each and are like insane, like tons of metal and high-end. Like for example, this is the type of line where, for example, you might buy a Gundam who's $300 as a figure, and maybe a more deluxe version of their sword would cost $50. So it's the type of thing where you might buy an ALPHAMON for $250, and then you would get a Metal or Yuken for $50. Then they ask about Tri, and they also ask what your 3 favorite Digimon series are.
I want all of this.
Yes. Yeah, everything from that's good, but I want to see at least one of everything before the line ends.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, like, no one's going to argue that I'm a big Savers fan. I would love to see that Agumon to Shine Greymon looking at a good toy, because that toy, which didn't even come out in Japan because of how badly the toy line was selling, when it ended up coming out in Singapore, I believe.
I just like seeing representation for every season.
But, like, that figure was horrible.
Yeah. I'm not a Frontier fan, but, like, yes, Frontier stuff.
The only issue I have with Frontier is the figure you would most want from Frontier, which is realistically Susanumon, got such a great like Susanumon got a great figure in that line. If you look at that toy now, it holds up relatively well compared to most of these.
Yeah, but it's really extravagant. Like
Yeah.
it's very much extravagant and kind of complicated, but you're right. It is really pretty and pretty expensive and really hard to come by.
It comes with a giant cannon weapon. Well, because you combine it, but I want and I know it was just their generic example. I would love a modern version of XVmon, Stingmon combining into Paildramon. Like I would love just that. And see, the problem is in my head, I'm sitting there going, I wonder if they could also do it, so you could also combine them into Imperial Dramon.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my
goodness.
Like it's completely unreasonable in every way, but in my head, I'm sitting there going, well, you already have all these parts. You could then lay him down and flip a head around or something, and it's like the colors would be completely wrong, but they haven't are we that bothered that ALPHAMON has a purple cape? Blue and green Imperial Dramon that evolves from Paildramon, that evolves from XVmon and Stingmon. I will buy it and spend too much money for it.
You'd have to get that.
Yes.
If they're making it, it ain't gonna be cheap.
But if I had to pick one thing from the list, though, I would love just like a big box, insane quality of the Cross Wars team that combines. Like that was what the toys were, but I would love just like high-end ones that look really nice. I want all these. I mean, I'm with May. I kind of want all these things. Minus the metal build ones, because there's no way in hell I could afford that. May would be the only person in the fandom who would buy those.
To be fair,
I'm not sure. I there would be a few people.
I feel like there'd be a lot of people, but to be fair, I just want them to continue with Evolving Spirits for forever, because I feel like they have so many choices that they could just do, and they could just keep on releasing it every 2 months. Maybe after the initial wave of the first few years, maybe slow it down, but they could just continue to release them and do more things, and that'd be great.
Never rest until you get that Gatchmon spirit.
Yes.
I really do okay, here's the thing though. Who would Gatchmon turn into? I feel like
I would do Globemon.
It'd be or Gaiamon.
I would stick with. I think Gaiamon was so late in the series that I would stick with Globemon.
See, for me,
oh yeah. I like Globemon though.
See, I feel like I think this is kind of AR's thinking also is Gaiamon sort of feels like an extra evolution to a degree, rather than it's sort of like when we think Agumon, we think War Greymon, we don't think Omegamon.
Well, they weren't apps, to be fair. They the god ones weren't apps; they were just things. So yeah, I can. Yeah, it's fine to have Globemon. Globemon, not Gaiamon.
Good. You've just given me the mental hula hoops I need to use Globemon on the banner instead of Gaiamon.
Cool.
But yeah, I really want Gatchmon to Globemon. I just have the idea of the Gatchmon in my head, and it works well.
Hey Mark.
What?
What about a Gatchmon to Gatchmon in a pumpkin suit?
Hey, we don't need that because...
Why don't you just do a gem figure of Gatchmon with the pumpkin suit as a side piece?
No, an android.
Yep.
The problem with the Nandroid... Here's the thing. There's an issue I have with doing a Nandroid of that. It's the same one of doing one of Umaru, in that the proportions are so close but just a bit off, it ends up looking wrong. No one knows what I mean?
I think I kind of get it.
Like Umaru was already super deformed.
Yeah.
So when you do an android of her, she's kind of a bit too stretched out to get those proportions. So it just feels kind of wrong. The only super deformed android that I remember liking was the images of the Kirby one. And that's because Kirby's literally just a sphere with stubs.
Right.
I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for showing up. Like, subscribe, follow With the Will on Twitter. You can find AR at First Agent ARP on Twitter. You can find May at Ancient Erismon, although more often or not, she's on the Translation Mon Twitter.
Yeah, basically.
May sort of does what I do, where it's like, oh yeah, I have my own Twitter. Okay,
It's
I'll tweet
beyond
those.
main.
Yeah, but like everything that's Digimon is always going to be on my at translation. I mean, like when new Digimon things arrive, or like I take photos of my Digimon things, they're just sort of miscellaneous photos. I'll upload them to my main. But like if it's a special like photo of my collection, or just like a photo that I actually want to look good, I put it on my translation on everything.
Yeah. Like I do have a main Twitter account.
I remember that popped up a few weeks ago. I'm like, it's like Adam Pulver. What the hell?
I use it I use it for not Digimon stuff basically.
Yeah.
Like if I'm ever rambling about something that isn't Digimon, I'll put it on there once in a while. Like I put the pic when I was at the ACE and I attended the Kenichi Sonoda project. Like that's not Digimon. I put that on my my other Twitter.
Yeah. And thank you to all of you who showed up. Those of you who support With the Will on Patreon. We will catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.